Um, and my name is Richard, and let's welcome you to Into the Odd, Electric Bastionland. The adventure we're going through tonight is House of the Tyrant. And the first thing I like to do is let my three players introduce themselves and introduce the characters they're playing. We may have a fourth player kind of jump in, as her schedule permits. But I'm going to start with the person on the left end of my screen, which is Brian.
All right. I am Brian, and I am playing Dogleg, who is a failed wall warden. Sounds fancy, but really all he was in charge of was doing grout repairs, mostly on the city wall. Didn't work out so well for him. Just, easily distracted by shiny things and whatnot. So he's in, a situation where he's owing a lot of money, and is going to set out with his baton and his pail of grout in his trowel and see what he can do to make some of that back.
And Brian, tell me a little bit about how Dogleg got into debt.
So Dogleg was repairing a section of wall that he had been detailed to do. It was, in fact, way overdue on actually completing on time. And so he kind of did it faster on the last day than he meant to. Didn't use enough grout, and a whole section of wall came down, crushing an archbishop and a whole bunch of, lesser church people.
Right.
It was bad, and the guild was sued, and the wall wardens were sued. So,
yeah. Wow, that's rough.
Yeah, didn't go to jail though, so that's good. Yeah.
Collapse structure fee. Fine.
Yes.
All right. And you're a tough guy. You've got a good amount of hit points. You have a good strength. But you may not have face of the party sort of written all over that tough mug. What is it about Dogleg that makes him less charismatic?
He was born ugly. And then it got worse because he'd get into fights with his brothers. So he's broken nose, some scars that don't really look handsome but just look bad.
Oh wow. Okay.
And a lot of chewing all of Bastion's various gums. Some of which have unique properties, and smoking and drinking and out in the sun working on the wall all day. It's taking its toll. He's not a pretty man. Yeah.
Okay. This is a nice tan.
Yeah. Yes. That's a silver lining.
So going left to right on my screen, Lou, you're right there in the middle. So I'm going to ask you to kind of tell us, introduce yourself and then tell us about your character.
Hey, I'm Lou, playing from Newcastle in Australia. My character is called Kirkpatrick, which is his surname, I think, that he goes by. He's a trench survivor, so he's been involved in some sort of war at some stage, and his role within the unit that he was in was a chaplain. And so he's kind of dressed in this tattered and patched, mismatched military uniform. I think it's actually got parts of like multiple, he's wearing the uniforms of maybe both sides of the war by now. Like it's kind of, bits and pieces of different military's uniforms. He also, he carries a holy donkey symbol, which sounds pretty cool. And I'm kind of imagining him wearing, instead of the red cross thing, that chaplains and that normally, or like doctors and that normally wear, he's got a red donkey sash on him, so he stands out as some sort of, medic or something. He's carrying some military strength gin, which sounds pretty awesome. And some sort of massive short range gun. he's highly charismatic. And he found a strange device in a tunnel as he was. That's this thing that you can whistle to. It's a hover plate, and it will kind of become fixed in the air, and you can use it for all sorts of strange, weird things. And I'm thinking in terms of his debt that he's deserted multiple armies by now. I think he's fought for many different armies, and if one starts getting overrun, he might turn coat to the. I think he's actually literally his coat can turn inside out, and it's got the other like army's uniform on the inside of it. And I think that maybe the war's kind of over now, and he's in debt to forgers and people that have helped him to like kind of create a new identity so that he doesn't like end up in military prison or executed, court-martialed.
Wow. Okay.
So he owes money to some like really dodgy people, criminal underworld sort of characters. Yeah, that's it.
So essentially, you paid for fake papers to keep you from getting drafted again.
And maybe some protection as well.
Oh, yeah. All right. Anything you want to add to that, or tell us a little about Kirkpatrick? Anything else?
I think he only joined the military in the first place to like get a free ticket from somewhere to somewhere else, but then he ended up being on different multiple fronts that he didn't want to be at. I think maybe he's got this gun, and I don't think he's ever fired it before.
All right.
Killed anyone.
Right.
He kind of did the chaplain thing so that he could stay out of the danger. So I think maybe he's going to struggle a bit with violence.
Okay.
And cowardice.
We'll help you.
So what aspect of the donkey did Kirkpatrick sort of resonate with?
I think it was. I think he actually had the medics or chaplains have donkeys that it's part of their job to walk around and put the injured on them. And I think maybe it was just a disguise at first, that it was the role he took to stay away from the battle. But I think maybe he became quite attached to his actual donkey that he was working with. And it's kind of become a personal mascot, like for him. I think it's more about maybe perseverance or something, stubbornly staying alive, sort of thing.
Perseverance, awesome.
Yeah.
Just got a note from Jennifer. She's not going to join us. I'm going to send her just a hey, start feeling better note real quick. So I'm going to take a quick pause. All right. One thing I do wish we could do whenever we're in sort of a broadcast game is pause it real quickly. All right. So Grese, played by Pat, and love to hear about Grese. He's an integrated foreigner from under the sea.
Yes, his name is actually pronounced Grese.
Grese.
Everybody pronounces it wrong. They call him Grese. But his name is his name is Grese. You gotta roll the R. Grese.
Grese.
And he came from the Abyssal City a while back as a preteen. And he doesn't really remember the Abyssal City all that much. He's a fairly large man and is always like underdressed for the situation. Like if it's really cold outside, you see him like, he's walking around sleeveless.
Right.
And then when it's like hot outside, he's walking around with either no shirt on and like tattered shorts, whatever.
Right.
He's how do you put this? Not really racially ambiguous, but ethnically ambiguous. People can't like quite pin where he's from, so they assume he's from wherever they assume, each person. And when he got to Bastion, he came under the wing of somebody that was going to help him out, get him on his feet, and all this. And we'll say that guy's name was Dunny. So Dunny took him under her wing. The only problem is Dunny was he was a con. He would scam people out of money. Yeah, he would scam people out of money by pretty much offering them protection. And if they didn't pay the protection money, he would himself go rob them, or his people. And Grese, became one of his strong arms until he realized that Dunny wasn't paying him well. He was just kind of using him. So one day Grese went out and got some money that was owed to Dunny from somebody and never returned it to Dunny and took off on his own. And I would imagine that's the debt. Grese has a weird gun that fires screaming disc, so that should be fun. He also has steel rope, which I imagine is very cable-like, and a vague accent, which fits into where nobody could pinpoint where he's from. Yeah, and he also can breathe underwater and see in the dark, which he keeps to himself.
Right. Okay. Now I'm gonna ask you to summarize that debt, because I wasn't sure how to kind of like, not just on the character keeper. That is fine. You don't have to restate it, but just so I can remember exactly what you got in trouble for. Because
let's also
when it potentially comes up tonight.
Let's connect my criminal underworld thing to that, just for connection and convenience to I think Dunny is probably who I owe my I've gotten my documents through connections of his, maybe, or he's enforcing because that sounds funny in a one shot to
and
how they're going to pop up.
Yeah. How do I spell Dunny?
I just put D-U-N-N-Y. I put owes money to Dunny. I didn't know what else put in there.
Why? Awesome. Okay, 1 second.
Man.
Which is a hilarious name for me, because that's totally the slang word for toilet. Do you guys use that as
Is it really?
toilet? Yeah, that's the Dunny can. I think it's Australian slang. I think it's Scottish slang as well. So it's an awesome criminal name, Dunny.
Wow. So Grese is like a superhero, except for the fact that he's got one HP. Other than
is that HP calculated automatically, or was I meant to roll for that?
Yeah, you'll roll a d6.
Cool, because mine's automatically given me 8, so I'll roll it now and see how weak I am.
All right.
Got a 3.
Now, if Trench Survivor gave you something else, go with what Trench Survivor said, but otherwise just take the roll. So
cool.
All right. Okay, just a couple of quick rules things. Just because, as you guys noted, Kirkpatrick, you generally want to avoid action if you can. Your goal is not to beat things up. Your goal is to get money and get out of debt, or get things you can fence and get it out of debt. Normally, you think of yourselves more as treasure hunters and less as thieves. But tonight's adventure will be one of those adventures that sort of pushes on that boundary, and we'll sort of introduce that in a second. But fictional positioning, really thinking about like, what do you do with your equipment? What do you do with what you find? and good detail are gonna, the kind of thing you might see in a heist movie is the kind of thing we're really looking for to kind of keep you guys out of trouble. Most things that that happen that are not combat, I'll just have you roll a d20, and you're going to try to get under one of your 3 ability scores. If you're ever at risk or you're trying to avoid harm, that's what you'll do. In combat, it's super simple. You just roll your damage. There's not a to hit roll or anything like that. If Kirkpatrick decides it's time to finally fire that trench gun, you're just going to grab that D8 and roll it and tell me what you get. The problem is, of course, that the bad guys are also going to do the same thing. You regain your hit points pretty quickly anytime you have a chance to just pause and take a breather. The problem is once you drop below 0 hit points, it starts coming out of your strength. And that does not recover nearly as quickly, and certainly won't recover in the course of the evening. And certainly, so any questions there? Just about that basic rule? All right. It's fairly simple. If you've played something like Maze Rats or old school D&D or anything like that, you'll fit right in and jump right in and get right into it. There's not a lot of complexity, and I am looking forward to seeing what you guys do. Without any further ado, we're going to get to House of the Tyrant. And I will tell you the name of your rival tonight is Nariah Ballard. Recently, the big name in Bastion, in relic hunting or treasure hunting or oddity hunting, whatever you call them, was the crew of Enora Dreg Salvage. Dreg Salvage disappeared fairly recently under strange and mysterious circumstances, and that you would have to watch a couple hours of video just to understand. And Nariah Ballard has sort of moved in. Nariah is, one of those super likable people in the treasure hunting business. He started it because he wanted to be a treasure hunter, not because he had to be a treasure hunter. So he kind of came in it with a little bit of money already in his pocket. He doesn't really have a crew. He does have a bodyguard named Annalise. So he has a bodyguard named Annalise who is a crack shot with a pistol and also has a couple of throwing axes at her belt that she kind of steers people away from causing trouble for Nariah. What I want to know from you guys is why, since everybody likes Nariah, why do you not? And I think I'm going to go in reverse order this time and start with Grese. Grese, what is it about Nariah, the most popular and charismatic treasure hunter in Bastion, that you just can't stand?
It's a he, right? Nariah.
Yeah.
He tends to brush off lesser treasure hunters when they try to speak with him. Yeah, he's kind of in a way an elitist treasure hunter. He knows he's good at it. He's gotten some good prizes. And he has quite the following. But if anybody tries to pick his brain for tips or anything like that, he sees a lot of other people not on his level.
Right.
That's why Grese doesn't like him.
What about you, Kirkpatrick? Technically, you are the most charismatic treasure hunter in Bastion right now, but other people keep insisting that Nariah is the most charismatic, charming treasure hunter in Bastion, just because he's been around longer. What is it about him that you just cannot deal with?
I think it's that classic rival thing where maybe a couple of times before we've worked our way through all of these places, got there, and Nariah's crew is like, we're just about to get the thing, or like they just kind of turn up and get the thing right before we get it after we've done all of the hard work. And I think it's been that kind of like Kirkpatrick trying to like talk the way out of it, but kind of being slightly out bullied and out charismaed at the. So it's just that classic, like, you know, Team Rocket, like turn up every time right when we're about to do the thing. Yeah.
Jerk.
Yeah.
Right.
Such a jerk. And then claiming all the credit, maybe like telling our stories as his own sort of thing. Ballard.
Freaking Ballard. Brian, Dogleg. You know an embarrassing secret. You know an embarrassing secret about Nariah, but he also knows one about you. What are those secrets?
Let's see. A secret that he knows about me is I'm supposed to be this big tough wall warden guy. I carry around a baton. I don't even need a gun. I just carry around a baton. I literally beat people to death when they get in my way. And I went to one of those moving picture shows, and somehow we ended up at the same show. And I wept. I wept in the show, and he totally saw me. I mean, he had some kind of device. I don't know what he did with it, but I worry that he might have taken my image with it. I don't know. It's very concerning. But much worse is the fact that one day when I was up on the wall, I looked down and I saw Mr. Ballard walking below me. And I saw him kick a dog. Now, he made it look like he tripped over the dog, but it was pretty obvious to me that he had kicked the dog. And I mean, that's the kind of thing that I think would ruin a man's reputation.
Especially if it was a really cute dog. I mean, that would certainly ruin a man's reputation, but even more so if the dog is adorable.
It was a pug.
It was a pug?
You don't kick pugs.
As if their lives aren't hard enough already.
No one kicks a pug. What a jerk.
Ballard does.
That's right. This guy's the worst.
Pug kicker.
All right. Sebastian is a sprawling city that sort of has kind of grown up and encroached on multiple smaller cities that then became suburbs that then sort of just got sucked into the vast sprawl of Bastion. Normally you guys would profit from those old sections because they become depopulated and you go into them and you sort of dig around until you find things that people forgot were there. Tonight, though, or I should say today, though, the prime target of your interest is the old city of Navi Dom that has been part of Bastion for a long, long time. But it's still kept its own council. It's still got its own sort of like neighborhood or district council. And various groups of merchants and guild members in Navi Dom are represented. It's had its highs and lows. It's certainly kind of gone up and down in everybody's esteem. It's been a desirable place to live. It's been a rough place to live. But recently the president of the council kind of ceded the council's sort of authority in Navi Dom to a man named Monarca, who is supposed to be a crime boss. And Monarca started the official dole of Navi Dom. And several neighborhoods in Bastion have a dole, a place that you can just go and get essential food for living, because you are a resident of that district in the city. So you can just show up, line up, and you will get your share of the food as long as there's food to get. You pay more money for luxury foods or fine foods, but basic living conditions and basic foods are just considered a right of most in most districts of Bastion. However, Navi Dom had not had enough money to really give a dole to its residents for a long time. And Monarcha, who no one ever really reports having seen, and is said to be an alien. He is not supposed to be from the realms of Bastion at all. He is much as Grese. Grese is an integrated alien. Supposedly he is, but then no one's really seen him. And Navi Dom has really been an alien strong neighborhood. There are several alien communities living there, including the Noose. And there's a few others sort of living there. And what I'd like to know from Grese is, what is it about this old coastal, what used to be sort of like a port suburb for Bastion, and has since kind of got sucked into the overall city as it sort of advanced towards the river sea coastline. What about Navi Dom was so appealing to foreigners?
I think it's like a family atmosphere.
Okay.
In Navi Dom, like everybody's really close knit and they care for each other. Like people in Navi Dom are, very generous. They'll give up their ration to somebody else in need. So it's a very close knit community, and I think that's why a lot of aliens go there, because it feels more like home, especially if they had to leave their families.
Right. And Dogleg, what did your parents used to tell you about Navi Dom? What terrible things did your parents used to tell you about Navi Dom that no one who's kind of civilized or part of the city believes now?
Oh, they used to tell me and my brothers that you got to be careful. If you go to Navi Dom, you might get kidnapped by the aliens, taken in as a child of their own. You'll never see our family again. On certain holidays, they sacrifice babies, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Good old anti-aliens. Standard, yeah.
Yeah.
And Kirkpatrick. What is the alien community in Navi Dom is diverse. It encompasses a lot. What is the kind of distinguishing mark or factor that makes the Pygo, this kind of bird-like alien group, so popular right now?
Something that distinguishes them and makes them popular. Is that what you're
Right.
asking?
They're people are doing Pygo art and they're doing Pygo cuisine. What is it about the Pygo, these bird-like creatures, that make them sort of a fashion point?
I think it's
sort of like fashion trending.
Yeah, I think it's just a like all-encompassing kind of aesthetic across like their like music and art and cuisine. I think it's maybe strange geometry in terms of like
Nice.
like art and food and their music, but it's a cohesive and strange geometry. I'm gonna say it's like it's tessellating geometry in music and art and food.
Nice.
And they're still skinny. I mean, it's just we're all just always trying to be as skinny as them. It's impossible.
Right.
Mm.
That's awesome.
And their food is surprisingly super fatty, so everyone that's eating the cuisine is just like,
Of course. Yeah.
They cheat. They have hollow bones.
yeah,
Right.
fast metabolism and hollow bones.
Fast metabolism, high energy. They cheat. They cheat like crazy. All right. So your goal is on the black market, where you guys often fence goods that you've taken. There is word that the dole has increased and gotten actually pretty established and pretty good. People can pick up both this kind of odd grain that no one's ever seen before. It's kind of red wheat that's actually red. You know, we have a lot of things in the real world that we call red wheat, but this wheat is actually kind of a sharp red, irregularly sized grains, and also just whole breads that often have the kind of this red and white sort of folded texture. And are quite delicious, and that has become just a normal part of the dole. It's one of the nicest kind of selections of and most consistent selections of food you get in a dole in Bastion, and anyone can just go and pick it up. They never seem to run out, even when the population in the neighborhood has recently gone up, and people are starting to whisper that Navi Dom is not buying or importing more food. I mean, it's hard to say. They are a port in and of themselves, but they're hearing like things and putting together that Navi Dom does not seem to be importing more food than it has in the past. And so they're not really sure exactly where the dole is coming from. And there are several city administrators who, for greater or lesser reasons, want to know where Navi Dom is getting all of this food. The quoted price that lots of people get you is if you can get a sample of the grain from wherever it comes out of its store. They're afraid that something is happening to it before it's actually stored and put into the dole. So obviously anybody could just show up and take whatever's given in the dole. They're afraid that there's something that happens before the food is put into the dole, but that they don't. They're a little concerned that what they're looking at in the dole is not quite exactly what you would look at. What they really want to see is where they're getting the dole from. So they're hiring people to track it down to its source, and or they're not hiring people. They're promising a reward for tracking it down to its source very quietly and bringing back a sample. Now, Navi Dom is an alien immigrant community. There are people from worlds away and from far continents. There are even people said to be there from the moon. There are people there from the abyssal deeps. And it sort of flourishes all night. But the dole tends to come out of what used to be sort of the city hall, which is a kind of a stone building with a beautiful sort of tinted glass dome over it that's done in nice kind of patterned various forms of patterned glass sort of over it, and that seems to be where Monarcha has kind of set up shop as sort of the new neighborhood boss. He had a reputation as sort of a tough crime lord before that, and again, no one he doesn't really take visitors. His representatives take visitors, but he distributes the dole, and almost all of that food seems to come out of there. This has been going on for about a month and a half. And the reward is substantial. If you can kind of track it to its source and bring back a sample, the reward is close to 700 pounds. There are some whispers that if you can put a stop to the dole, you might be able to find people who would reward you more highly. But right now, people are willing to pay about 700 pounds for a sample of what's going into the dole. The problem is the old city hall was built as a fortress, and it kind of serves as a fortress. Now it's open. People go in and visit all day, and all night. But and it stays pretty busy throughout that time. But most of that is in a kind of a small sub building near the base. It's almost a little like the Louvre Museum, where it has kind of an entrance building, and most everything kind of comes in and out through the entrance building, connected to that much larger sort of fortress-like structure that used to be City Hall. It is whatever time of you, like I said, Navi Dom is busy and bustling throughout all parts of the day, so it can be whatever time of day you want it to be. But I'd like you to start in Navi Dom and tell me kind of what your plan is for getting into the entrance building and through the entrance building into the main building, or if you have maybe another plan for getting into the main building.
Grese would probably want to talk to people from, his homeland, the Abyssal City,
right?
To see what they know, and he knows that it can be kept secret. Any conversations they could have in the open, because when they communicate, it's more chemical in nature than verbal.
Right.
So he wants to have some conversations with some of the locals, see what they know.
There are certainly lots of people from the Abyssal City and from the Abyss in general. Different groups of peoples from that area, who would and what kind of information are you asking them?
Just general information about, Monarcha, getting to Monarcha, perhaps meeting Monarcha, if it's possible. Stuff like that. Just general information on getting inside the. He said was it a church, or was it Old Town Hall?
It's an Old Town Hall.
Okay. So yeah,
now just
the restricted areas of the Old Town Hall.
So yeah, as soon as you walk up to them, they're like, yeah, that's Monarcha sent by the crashing waves over our heads. And its life has been good since Monarcha showed up. It is it brought the crime down. He's installed his own enforcers in the neighborhood, and they point over to some people, a people of mixed group, a few people who have sort of the abyssal look, and some people who have a more standard human kind of appearance. And they're all wearing these kind of form-fitted, kind of loose, not form fittings, but a very soft, almost silky looking uniforms, with kind of a white silk, black boots. And they all seem to be, the uniforms seem to kind of fit their bodies. They're sort of sewn in, and they all look fairly strong and sturdy. And they're wandering through the neighborhood. They've got pistols on their belts, but they don't seem to hold them. They all seem to hold like a simple baton, much like a UK street cop out of a movie. And they smile at people. People smile back. They're all just like, he's got his own enforcers here. They keep an eye on things. It's been fantastic. When are you coming back to the old neighborhood? You should be living here among us.
I have some things to take care of at the city center. I don't want to bring that here.
Oh, that is a shame. I mean, this is a lively, and we take care of people here.
Yeah, I noticed that. I really do like it here, and really do wish I could live here, but circumstances don't make it so.
Yes, what can we do for you?
So, this Monarcha, you're singing his praises. I would love to meet him.
No one meets Monarcha.
But why not? Why all the secrecy?
He lives in the old hall. They say he stays in the ocularium.
And there's no way back to him?
Well, people say they've seen Monarcha, but we think that's probably just people trying to get away with saying they're Monarcha, because they never really have the honor guard, and they don't really have the chaplains that are with him.
So nobody knows what he looks like.
No one knows what Monarcha looks like. I mean, Monarcha is a benefactor and a father for the neighborhood.
Well, how does one get a job working for Monarcha? I mean, these uniformed, people that are around, they're well off. Who wouldn't want to work for them? How do you get a job with them?
Oh, no, you can just, I'm sure, just walk up to one of them and ask. They have a commander. Well, I'm sure the commander has seen Monarcha, but the average, honor guard does not see Monarcha.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Huh. So yeah, I would probably run and tell Kirkpatrick about that and Dogleg.
Kirkpatrick, what are you doing to sort of get the lay of the land in Navi Dom as you get close to the old city hall?
I think continuing this little line of investigation that Kirkpatrick's probably looking at these enforcers and trying to see if any of them have like a military bearing, like somebody that he could kind of have some soldierly solidarity with to try get some information out of.
You kind of walk up. Are you wearing your sort of the holy symbol of the donkey?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. You stroll up to one, and you kind of come. He's sort of standing at the side of a small street, sort of observing it. And you kind of get his attention, and he looks over at you, kind of squints at you, kind of for a moment, sees your badge, and is just like, chaplain, one moment. And then he continues looking back the direction he was looking at a set of market stalls with kind of busy sellers. And what time of day did you guys decide to try to kind of go stake out the neighborhood?
I kind of like nighttime.
Nighttime, all right, yeah.
Just because it looks cooler in my imagination, the market.
Yeah, it gives you a little more. It gives you more shadow, and it gives you beautiful. Navi Dom still uses gaslight. Most of Bastion has switched to various forms of electric light, but I think that Navi Dom still uses gaslight in its lanterns, because it's got the old sort of gas pipes underneath the sidewalks.
I think I might have Dogleg with me as sure. Muscle as well. Just
nice.
Probably right.
So he's like, so he continues to kind of look at it. He's like, "Did you have without turning to look at you? He's like, "Did you have a question, chaplain?"
I think this is kind of like that he's immediately recognized. I don't think I've spent much time in this area, and just right. With Grese mentioning the chaplains and stuff, I think I'll try to act like I'm in the employ of Monarcha already and kind of be like, I'll ask him what I might ask him if anybody's tried to there's been reports of people trying to break into the ocularium, and has he heard about it? What's been like, are there new security measures in place, or is it just, the old security measures?
I'm going to ask you to check your charisma. So what you're going to do is take a d20 and roll it. Try to get your equal to or under.
Well, lucky it's so high. I rolled a 16, but I've got 17 charisma.
Yeah, I stay very.
I think it's that kind of like dodgy, like con man deserter style charisma.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
he's got a big, like charming. He's got a big charming smile. Like he's probably, depending on what sort of show it is, like when he smiles, his teeth, there's that little sparkle, like on his teeth and in his eye.
Yeah, he doesn't really kind of turn to look at you. He sort of reaches back and sort of absently pats you on the shoulder. He says, "Chaplain, chaplain, chaplain. Your colleagues in the old city hall have this well under control. You should breathe, relax, enjoy your time in Navi Dom." And again, he's not turned to look at you. He is not taking his eye off that group of merchants. And then he sort of scratches his chin, and then shortly after that, as he's talking to you, and shortly after that, you see two more people in sort of the white uniform. One of them kind of looks a little bit like Grese, except he's wearing a lot of clothes. And for Grese, and the other is standard, Bastionese looking kind of guy, walk up to a very sturdy woman who's behind one of the merchant tables, and start kind of interrogating her and looking at her goods. And he as soon as that happens, he sort of turns around and puts his arm around your shoulder and just says, Chaplain, it's this Navi Dom is going to be in good hands. Your colleagues in the city center have everything under control. There is no chance that any rabble, any misinformed youth are going to try to break into the ocularium. They know what's good for them, and they know what's good for the people. We would not, nothing bad could possibly happen with your colleagues in the city center there to keep watch.
I think Kirkpatrick puts his arm around him and a little rub on the shoulder, walks off with Dogleg, and he's like, well, it's time to work out how to be some misinformed youth and break into the ocularium.
Yes, exactly. Is there any graffiti on the walls? And also, are there any posters? For the man? Like, he's got a little bit of a cult of a personality going here. I'm curious if there's maybe a silhouette poster or any kind of propaganda.
There really is not kind of form much propaganda. You see that several of the buildings have been whitewashed cleaned and whitewashed fairly recently. That would suggest that perhaps there was some graffiti that was getting removed. But there's not any posters. There's not any current graffiti. That's something you could easily spot and read. Everything in the vicinity of the ocularium seems to have been kind of scrubbed, and re-whitewashed fairly recently.
Huh. There might be some angry Utes. Might be able to harness that. Well, I'm thinking that I might be able to get in with my trowel and my bucket of grout under the old I'm here to do some repairs thing. Maybe once I'm in, I could open up a window or something and get you guys in. But I'm a little concerned by the picture that you sent. Is it like Venice, or is it like?
That was just this neighborhood is not like necessarily like Venice. I picked that more because that was a picture Michael had originally drawn. In the original adventure, Navi Dom is its own city. It's more like a medieval Renaissance city, but the core of the action is that single dome building towards kind of the center. I think it's kind of the center right, if I remember correctly.
I see it. Okay, so there are a number of windows.
Towards the bottom floor, there is a bunch of windows, and I kind of pictured it as kind of being a sprawling building, or a sprawling set of connected buildings under the big dome.
It sounds like it might be easy enough for me to like bluff your way if you've seen, pulling out some bricks. It seems like Kirkpatrick might be able to stand around with his, kind of chaplain authority and be like, yeah, he's totally meant to be here.
Yeah. The only thing is, if it's nighttime. What's that?
I was going to say I kind of like that idea of trying to find a gang of youths to help us out in some way as well, distraction or whatever once we're in the building, if that's something that's like.
Yeah, I think like the bunch of us should maybe go see if we can figure out maybe where they're at and see if they can help us get in. But you guys got to do the talking. I don't, I'm mystified by the youth of Bastion. So I just can't communicate with them on the same level. So you guys have to help me with that.
You don't want me doing that.
It might be fun to see what happens. So I'd like to see Grese failing at that.
So I think as Grese, you were looking for them, and I think at the time you meet up together, you definitely can hear kind of in a side alley the sound of like young voices, kind of clinking glasses together, and then the sound of like kind of fights kind of half starting and then sort of mellowing out as people tell people to mellow out, and and it's sort of kind of down a little alley, and the white guard, the kind of the white garbed honor guard does not seem to be paying much attention to it. A couple of them stroll by just as you kind of meet up, and they don't seem to be terribly interested in what's going on in that alleyway. And they kind of walk off. And I assume you guys have a chance to talk to each other and tell each other anything you've learned, and possibly share a plan. So what would you like to do?
Should we go check out this alley? What do you guys think?
Yeah, we can. I heard that Monarcha's hiring, but if you guys have a better plan, then that's definitely
that's good too. Yeah, I mean,
I think I'm also a little bit interested in the old getting some of those guards' uniforms trick, and I already seem to be kind of in the uniform, so we could potentially do the old steal the stormtroopers' outfit routine, or get into the building like with disguises and change once we're in. Or that seems kind of. I wonder if we could get this these young people to lead some of the a couple of the White Guard into the alleyway, and then we could beat them up and take their shit.
Yeah, we could try that.
Yeah, it'll put us on a pretty tight time schedule, but that might be good. All right. I mean, these kids don't seem like they're like having a meeting of the proletariat or anything, but hopefully
no, they seem to be pretty much just getting drunk. You kind of poke your nose back there, and you can. Are you trying to be secretive about looking back there, you guys, or are you trying to just sort of like look around the corner?
Yeah, I just gonna look around the corner.
Oh yeah. There's a rather large, broad-shouldered abyssal girl, sort of dressed the way you would expect an abyssal to dress. We are always too hot. We are always, no matter how cold it is outside, we are too hot. So she's kind of got kind of a loose top on, and she's wearing like the ragged shorts, and she's got she seems to be she's got sort of this Pygo significant other, sort of this kind of winglet, flightless bird person who she's sort of like hanging out with, stroking its feathers on its crown. And then there's just a standard Bastionese kid, and then another abyssal who kind of is sitting at the edge. All of them have bottles. She has got the nicest bottle. Clearly, she did something to earn the good stuff. But everybody's got a bottle, and they sort of look up at you and like, what? Yeah, old man, what?
Take it away, Chaplain.
Oh, okay then. Well, being so charismatic, I think I'm like, oh, they saw us, and I pull out my I've got a bottle of military strength gin.
Oh yeah, that's right. You do.
Oh, nice.
And I think I do that thing. Coming from someone not as charismatic, it would seem like I was trying to get down with the kids. I do whatever the version of like, I'm like, hey, what up? Oh, I'd probably like go in and like I like do some awesome handshake with them, like.
Yeah. I have to break it to you. In Brooklyn, that's a sure sign that you're over 40 if you fist bump.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It's coming back though. The little kids are all doing it because it was it was in Big Hero 6 with the robot, and now all the kids
nice.
Yeah. So I think maybe
I finally learned to get my fist to explode correctly in time for it to come back.
So I do some of that. And I think maybe I call the other. I think we'll hunker down on the ground with them with some military strength gin and have a drink with them.
I'd like you to go ahead and roll your D20 and tell me kind of what you get.
Is this another charisma
This is a
thing?
charisma check, yeah.
Yeah, I got it under
Awesome.
it again.
What'd you get?
I got a 9.
9, nice.
No,
okay.
no, wait, a 6.
A 6, nice. I'm trying to treat ones like they're exceptional, and she's like, "You took your face mask off there, Chaplain."
Ah, shit! I meant to have a face mask.
You've never heard of chaplains wearing face masks?
Yeah, I think I say that out loud. I'm like, shit! I meant to have a face mask. I'm like, what does it look like?
Oh, nice. And she's like, you know what it looks like.
And like I pass her some of the military strength gin as I'm asking her.
Oh, and she's like, the goggles, the cloth wrap.
Yeah, Yeah.
You know, the whole
That's
thing
right.
about like the children of the donkey are not supposed to show their unmodified human faces.
Yeah. Totally.
I lean over to Kirkpatrick and I'm like, I think she's fucking with you, man.
Well, like I'm not gonna fuck with a chaplain. He could turn me in.
Into what?
Into the ocularium. They could get a bunch of like white, get a bunch of those white robe folks over here.
Yeah, that's what we want.
So out of character, I totally think they're turning the people of the neighborhood into this delicious red grain.
The dole is people? You're right.
Okay. I wonder what I think. Do you reckon it would be fair that I would have some like basic equipment? I would have some bandages and shit.
Oh sure, yeah.
Okay, I'm totally gonna wrap. I imagine we're getting more tipsy now. I'm gonna I wrap my face up in some bandages, and I'm like, ooh.
She's like,
look, I'm a chaplain.
She's like, it's just bandages? I thought it was like a special uniform thing. It's just like stuff you can go down and get at like the apothecary shop.
I'm like, yeah, but do I look like a scary chaplain now? Is this?
I mean, like you're not as big as the others.
Damn it.
Oh, they're big guys, huh?
Well, you shouldn't feel bad about that. I mean, you're just like normal size. I mean,
yeah, Grese takes that comment like above and beyond. He just starts rolling on the ground laughing.
Yeah, and she's like, dude, don't make him feel bad.
Yeah, it's totally and they're donkey priests too, so they're totally priest with donkey dicks.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I should have been a chaplain.
Patrick looks very self-conscious all of a sudden, and he's like looking. He's like, "Oh man, like I can't help it."
Yeah.
Oh man, this thing keeps freezing up on me.
So I think that yeah, they've definitely told you about the they're just like, yeah, we're gonna do you're a little smaller. I mean, you're a lot smaller. I mean like those guys are big to us. I mean, like, and like Grese, you can see like the one she keeps pointing out as her brother is like he's small for an abyssal. He's still big for like a Bastonian. But he's small for an abyssal. He's a little bit. He's a good like half a foot shorter than you. It's scrawny.
So I'll ask her. I'll be like, so our does Monarcha employ abyssals as the White Guard?
Oh yeah, and the White Guard, but never as chaplains. I mean, we keep our own. We don't serve as chaplains. That's our way.
That'd be weird.
It's our way.
So look,
but yeah, he hires us for the White Guard. That's
Yeah, I'd like to ask. Like what major things would the White Guard be looking for these days? Like, what would they be trying to put a stop to the most?
All contraband, fights, public disruption, gin, hard spirits.
So I imagine being.
She says that as she like tips her bottle towards your bottle.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah. Hard spirits.
So did the White Guard harass y'all much?
The White Guard are all punks. Even they're assholes. Even the ones like even the abyssals. You become an asshole when you become a White Guard. They're always sneaking around, watching people.
What do you say we get back at them?
What do you have in mind?
Well, you see me and my two buddies here. I think we can handle a few of these white guards. Do you think we could?
She snickers. She's like, "Oh, okay, I'll put money on that."
You draw them in here, and we take care of them.
I think, as you say that, Kirkpatrick's like quite drunk now, and you're like, "No, you just all wait here and hide around that corner. I've got this." And he like stumbles up the.
Oh, wait.
No, he's like, "Oh, it's okay. It's okay." And he's gonna go and try find the like just a couple of the white guard and lead them into the.
Do you put the gin bottle down?
No, I might even say I could just confiscated it.
Like a citizen's arrest.
Yeah, I just like got it off some. And yeah, and maybe that they there's some teenagers or there's some youth in the alleyway that drinking, and they insulted my my manhood.
Oh man,
they're not hard to find. You don't have to go very far to find them, Kirkpatrick. I'm just going to ask you to make a charisma check.
Now's the time when I roll really bad. I think also I've scuffed myself up a bit, so that I look like I've been roughed up a little bit.
I'm trying to keep an eye on him, like from a distance.
Oh, I rolled right on it. I rolled a 17.
You got it.
Oh.
That was rough.
As it would have been.
The drunkenness isn't helping. I like breathing like gin, like strong gin breath into his face while I'm covering him.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's the one you found before who was sort of watching that merchant, and one of the people who was sort of harassing the merchant. It's been about an hour, not quite an hour maybe. But it's been a while, and they're both standing there talking. And there's a bunch of people on the street, and but they turn to you and it's just like, Chaplain, my old friend, you wandered off. Where did you go?
Oh, you've got to come quickly. There's some hoodlums in the alleyway, and they're drinking. They roughed me up. Look at me. And I'm like, I mean, what was I saying? I'm like, yes, you've got to follow me too. Bring a friend.
How many are there with you? Is your friend still there? Is your friend all right?
There's not many of them. You should be able to handle them with probably just you and one friend only.
It's not suspicious at all.
But I'm so charismatic.
Man.
So there's 3 or 4 of them. I am so sorry this happened to you. He puts his hand on your shoulder and he asks, "Can you point me in the right direction?"
I'm like, I'll lead you there.
No. Stand behind us. Just point us in the direction.
Okay, I will stand behind you. I'm like, they're just over there.
Man.
Yeah, they square their shoulders and pull out their batons and start heading towards the alley.
How many of them are going there?
Are they walking? Or are they
That's 2.
Running?
They are walking briskly.
Okay, so
they're ready to start running. They're ready to start running if anybody sort of surges out of the alley.
Okay.
Away.
So I kind of had this idea. Perhaps Dogleg will help me out of it.
Sure.
I'm gonna stretch the my steel cable rope across the alleyway.
Yeah.
And I want them to come peeling in there as fast as they can.
All right.
I step out from the alley and I'm like, "Screw you, you bumpers! Monarcha sucks."
Yeah, the kids are looking at you like, what?
Like, you guys should probably split.
But yeah, you've got that over the alley. And did we lose somebody? We're all here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Seems like it.
All right. So yeah, you kind of stand out in front of the alley, or you're kind of behind where you put the tripwire, right?
Right.
All right. So why don't you kind of roll for charisma to get them to focus on you rather than look down?
Okay.
Cool.
Let's see how well this goes. Nope, I rolled a 9.
Wait, did you have high charisma?
No, I got very low charisma. I have the lowest charisma.
Oh, Jennifer had the high charisma.
Yeah.
Oh man, between the two of us.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing all the talking.
Yeah, I'll never underestimate charisma again, ever.
So I think what we're gonna do is you've done that. I'm gonna ask Grese, if you would just roll a d6 and tell me what you get. You can roll it online in the die roller. You can roll it offline. I completely trust you.
I rolled a 6.
A 6, great. You're going to go first. They know, you see them clearly notice the line you set down.
Ah,
Bastards.
They are moving towards the entrance of the alleyway, ready to step over it, and you get to go. So you guys will go first. I'll have them go next.
oh man. So like I don't want to fire my weird gun yet because I don't need any more attention over
It
here.
is loud.
Oh yeah, it is loud. Yeah.
It could also mess up those uniforms that you want to steal from them.
Right.
Oh,
So
duh,
I'm gonna
good
try to
point, yeah.
like. So they jumped over the rope. So I'm gonna try to like get their.
They're stepping over in that way that suggests they think that they do not need to rush to get this clearly drunk man in an alleyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to yank up on the rope and at least get one of them. Try to get one of them tangled up.
Oh, nice.
Tangled up in it.
I'm gonna have you roll your strength.
All right.
Yeah. At the very least, you could rack them.
That's a 6.
A 6.
Yeah.
Well, no, I take it that is well below your strength, is not?
Yeah. Strength 13.
Awesome. Yeah, you've got one of them sort of like knocked back onto the ground.
Cool.
You pull it up. It trips him. Yeah, it is not a pleasant experience for him. He is on the ground, kind of crawling out gently in pain. And the other one's sort of moving towards you. Dogleg and Kirkpatrick. Kirkpatrick, you were right behind them. Dogleg, you had a bottle too. A pretty sturdy bottle, a gin bottle.
Yeah, I guess I'll that sounds fun. I guess I'll hit the one that hasn't fallen down in the back of the head with my bottle. Maybe I'll even I'll like tap him on the shoulder as I'm like, hey, and then as he turns around, I'll try to like get him.
So what you're going to do is you're just going to roll, say let's call it a D6.
Okay. 4.
Nice. Solid hit.
So he kind of sees you coming out of the corner of his eye, and he sort of rolls his shoulder up so that your hit sort of lands across his back. And he looks like he's about to cry out. And let's hand this to Dogleg and see what you do.
Shit.
If I attack the same guy that Kirkpatrick just attacked,
Right.
So he's turned to face Kirkpatrick. You said, right?
Yeah. Well, not quite, but he sort of pivoted so that his shoulder sort of like caught most of the blow.
Mm.
His main pivot was less about facing Kirkpatrick and more about getting his less easily injured shoulder between himself and the bottle so that his head was not clobbered.
Could I step so as to be behind him and try to angle for an enhancement?
Yeah. So
Okay.
that and at that point, I'm just going to have what I'll do, Kirkpatrick, is have you re-roll an enhancement. I'll explain what that is in just a second. But go ahead and let's make this challenging. I think that's a sneaky thing, so let's call it dexterity.
Okay. Well, that shouldn't be a problem because my dexterity is 9. Let's see how that goes. I got an 11.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep the the roll you initially got. Oh yeah. I'm gonna keep the roll you initially got, Kirkpatrick, because what an enhancement would do is if you kind of put somebody in a bad spot and your attack is enhanced, your damage roll will always be a D12, no matter what weapon you're using. And I forget what the flip side is, but essentially, if your attack is disadvantaged, I'm losing my terminology.
So D4,
if your attack is disadvantaged in some way, if your opponent is just significantly larger than you, for instance, or you kind of have your arms pinned down and you're kind of flailing, you're always just going to roll a D4, no matter what your weapon is. But in this case, if you'd kind of gotten there, I would have let you roll a D12 and taken the better of your 2 rolls, just assuming that he would have been less able to get out of your way. So he is still kind of up, and he looks like he's about to cry out. And let's I'm gonna do 1 roll. He looks like he's about to cry out when the Pygo kid starts to just squawk really, really loudly.
Yeah.
You've heard this around the neighborhood a lot, and people tend to just ignore it. But it seems to sort of just drown out whatever the guys. He's gonna have to yell down this kind of Pygo kid. And the big girl just kind of clocks him. He's going to. He's still up, but he is. She clocks him, and that one seems to really get through. He was able to sort of dodge and sort of suck up a good bit of the blow that you gave him. Kirkpatrick, but that kind of left him open to getting punched right in the jaw by her. So he's got.
Oh, and is Igor with us?
Oh, that's true. Igor is with you, and you've not really given Igor an instruction yet. So I would need you to sort of like give Igor something to do. So let's say he's not right with you right this second.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we've sent him off to like scope out the other side of the building or something.
He was perusing the market the whole time.
Yeah.
I just say Igor makes Grese look like a charming son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's sitting down in the market, like picking his nose and farting or something.
He's just people are little children are walking up to him asking if he wants a free cookie. Like the baker's kids are coming around with trays of free cookies, and like Igor just scowls at them and brushes them aside.
He'll probably bring back the worst of the street meat for us.
Yeah.
What is this? An insect? What were you thinking? What?
No delicacy. So, but the one that they're about to the Pygo is sort of shouting it down, so they can't really be heard right away. And I think Kirkpatrick, the one you clobber with that gin bottle is going to come at you with that baton. Ooh, and you're going to take 6 hit points of damage.
Oh, crap.
Okay, that I think I'm down then.
Actually, you're at 0. Well, you go to 0, and then the everything below 0, everything after 0 comes out of your strength. So if you can just put a slash after your strength and say it's normally 12, but now it's a 9.
Youch.
So, and now I need you to make a strength check as if it was a 9.
Okay, what's this for?
This is for seeing if you're kind of stunned.
Okay, I'm gonna treat this as a cowardice roll because I don't think I'm actually much of a fighter.
Oh yeah.
I rolled a 7.
You are, yeah, you're still
Okay.
good. You're still in the fight.
Yeah, it's the gin, the military grade gin gave me
it's giving you a lot of courage.
courage. Yeah.
It's giving you a lot of courage, and it's actually taking some of the pain out. Part of your brain slowly knows that this is going to hurt tomorrow morning. But lots of things hurt tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I already knew that when I started drinking military grade gin.
Right. And the other one's just gonna stand up, and he's gonna try to bolt, but you were sort of right there on top of him, Grese. So he's going to try to bolt while you try to, and you've got the rope sort of half around his leg. I'd like you to go ahead and make a strength check to see if you can keep him from bolting.
I rolled a 7.
Yeah, he goes right back down. He's still moving on the ground though. He is right back down, and he's trying to call for help. But you definitely have him by the leg. He's not moving. He's not going anywhere.
So Grese is like trying to call to Kirkpatrick and Dogleg for help, but his accent is like coming out really strong in this this stressful situation, and you understand nothing what he's saying. Just sounds like gibberish.
Yeah. Let's send it back over to you guys.
I'm quite keen to hit him with the butt of my trench gun.
Oh yeah, let's roll another d6 for that.
Yeah, so I think like I put the bottle down and like I'm gonna try do that. A 5.
Oh, that's gonna hurt. And he just sort of collapses. He's breathing, but he is knocked out. You've done the classic clap him on the side of the head and knock him out maneuver. And Grese, you have the other one by the leg. What do you want to do with him?
I'm gonna try to like wrench his leg to make it so, even if he does get away from me, that it's gonna be painful. He's not gonna be able to run full speed. So I'm gonna like try to twist his leg all up.
So I'm just gonna try something really quick. Now he tries to pull away from you, realizing what you're doing, and he ends up leaning into it. I had him. One of the suggested rules, I tend to go with the player always rolls, but one of the suggested rules in the game is the person most at risk always rolls. I had him check his strength after you've kind of knocked him to the ground a couple of times, and he got a 19.
Oh wow!
On the die. So that is you are able to completely break his leg.
Ouch!
Brutal.
And he just passes out.
Wow.
From the pain.
Kirkpatrick is noisily sick in the alleyway. Just went and stuff.
There, Kirkpatrick. You did good.
Kirkpatrick, as you get sick, you feel a little bit better, and your hit points go back up. because, like I said, you don't have to take much more than a breather to get your hit points back up. It's when you take damage to your stats that's less easy.
Cool.
And then you've got two of these guard uniforms.
Yeah, let's pull them deeper into the alley.
Right.
Thank the kids, and
the kids are like, that was fantastic. That was the best night we've had in a long time.
Treasure hunters, man. We live the life.
Can we tie him up with some steel rope and grout?
Her smaller abyssal brother, who's still pretty much larger than Dogleg or Kirkpatrick, I think is still like, trench hunters actually have the lowest income potential of major professions.
Oh, don't listen to him. Probably plays RPGs. Hey, could Lou's got a good idea. Could we take a quick break? Let's
take a quick break.
All right, cool.
And we'll come back and figure out how you guys get in.
Sounds great.
Awesome.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah.
Brian, he's rebooting his computer. You left a little message there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Right. Occasionally close the chat and then forget it's there. Apologies. We'll give Brian just a second to come back on.
Where are you playing from, Richard?
I'm in New York City. I'm in Brooklyn.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And Pat, where are you from?
I'm in Georgia.
Cool.
Yeah, Augusta, Georgia.
Cool. I thought I recognized the accent. I lived in Atlanta for a little bit.
Okay.
Briefly.
Yep, about 2 hours out from Atlanta.
Yeah. And where is Newcastle, Australia? This is me failing Australian geography, so apologies.
It's 2 hours north of Sydney.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah, if you drive, or 3.5 hours by train because the train's so crap. There's so many coal trains on the lines that it has to go super slow and wait for all the coal trains constantly.
We have the same issue with our cross country. Most of our cross country train lines outside the Northeast and a couple of other corridors where the rail service owns its own lines. They have to lease lines from industrial trains of various. Yeah, so they frequently are 4 or 5 hours late because there's a steel train that did not want to be late.
But yeah, it's quite a big. It has the biggest coal pod in the world, Newcastle.
Oh wow!
So it's a big, and it probably has about 500,000 people, which is big for an Australian city.
Right. Brian, welcome back.
Sorry about that. Thank you. Had a hard time getting back in.
No worries. We were reviewing where we're all from. And where are you calling in from? Just
Chicago.
Chicago, nice. I've also lived in Chicago.
Yeah, it's a good town, except for the 9 months of the year that it's wintertime. Other than that, it's
yeah. It's
the
only things.
Yeah. The only things I know about Chicago are mainly from reading the Dresden Files, so it seems like and a book that I read about a sociologist that what's it called? He went out to the projects and did this kind of
Freakonomics.
Yeah, he did that off the book sociology kind of.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
That's my only knowledge of Chicago. Those two books.
Yeah, it's a great town. We have some problems with corruption and weather, but what town doesn't really?
Right.
Totally.
As a New Yorker, we have no corruption problems.
Right.
We have zero.
Solved long ago.
Yeah. We solve for that by having the state take all of the mayor's authority away because no one in the state's corrupt.
Right. Exactly. Oh man.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. And you've got 2 uniforms. They don't fit as nicely as they do on their original wearers. But you now have them and their original wearers don't. You did not kill either of these guys. You knocked them out. So what are you doing with them now that you have them at your mercy and naked?
Well, I had the idea to tie them up with some of that steel rope, and maybe some of Dogleg's grout to make it even more strong.
Yeah, we could essentially cement them to the floor with steel rope and grout.
Does anybody know what this packet of oxtail gum is that I have? I have no idea what oxtail gum is. Do you guys know what it is?
Delicious gum.
Is it?
Yeah. It tastes like oxtail soup, I imagine.
I thought maybe it was some sort of glue made out of oxtail.
I have no idea. And usually, frequently, when I try to overguess at what something is from something kind of steampunky, it turns out that no, it's actually a very real mundane thing that I've just never heard of. But I'm like, no, let's go with it's oxtail gum. It's gum that tastes like oxtail. And listeners at home, if we are wrong, please write in.
That's right. My gum tastes like rust, so that's definitely not as good as oxtail.
Depends on who you are and what you like.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So with these guys securely secured away, why don't you guys take the uniforms, and maybe I'll take Igor and try to do the contractor coming in to patch some holes.
I already pretty much have a disguise in my mind with my bandaged face and my chaplain thing, even though I'm small.
Oh, so you want to just use your natural disguise?
My chutzpah and my disguise.
All right, then I'll wear the I'll wear your uniform.
Military uniform have gotten people into a lot of situations.
That's for sure.
It seems kind of tropey, but
No, that's great. Catch me if you can. Yeah.
Don't let that dissuade you from getting us into the building with some of your mad masonry skills. That sounds fun as well.
Good. All right.
All right. Well,
I don't know if our disguises are good enough just to walk straight through the front door, but maybe we can do that. We're already in here, so we must be meant to be here.
Right.
Thing.
Right.
Well, Grese, what do you think? Should I wear the uniform or should I go with the contractor ruse?
That's up to you. I mean, we could always put the uniform on Igor if needed.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that'll prevent him from having to talk at all. So we'll put the uniform on him. He's a pretty big guy, and I'll be the gruff contractor guy, which I am good at. So that's perfect. Let's do this thing.
All right. So what's the sequence of you going in? Are you going in as the gruff contractor first, and then the rest of you file in like you're supposed to be there?
I think to make it orderly, maybe one of the guards should go in first, followed by the chaplain, followed by the contractor, followed by another guard, just to make it look official, I guess, in a way.
Right.
Like we're escorting these two in.
I also have this strange floating platform that could essentially get us like up and into a window or something. Maybe one of us can stand on it at a time. I've just got to whistle a tune to it and it will float in place.
That's pretty awesome.
Remember,
what the heck? Kirkpatrick starts with a trench gun and Tensor's floating disc. I have a baton.
Yeah, once you're in the military, you're pretty much set.
Man. All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's up to you. I mean, if you want to try the window with your fancy floating disc, you can. That would be one less person, I guess, that has to go through the gauntlet.
I reckon you should just bust a hole through the wall.
Quietly.
What?
Patrick's obviously still drunk.
Yeah.
You're just going through the wall, it'll be fine.
What if we just dynamite the base? What?
Blow it up till it collapses. Everything's going to be good.
Man. Okay, well let's get this going. I'll put I guess I'll put Igor in front of me and give him the instructions, but you're just gonna walk in there like you own the place. I'm gonna walk in after you.
All right. So you're gonna kind of stick with them as the contractor?
Yeah. Make it
Perhaps
look like
we're escorting you in there or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. We've unlike in real business places where they just let people wander around. Like, oh, you're with IT, yeah, feel free to whatever, you know.
So since you're all kind of sticking together, and it is night, it's busy in there. There's Navi Dom has lots of people who are mainly awake at night, who have erratic schedules, who have a weird shift work. I'd like they're not going to pay too much close attention to you. I'd like I'd need Grese to cut your steel rope in half. So you have a half length of steel rope.
Okay.
And B, I'd like Kirkpatrick to roll a charisma check. You're really not. You're less about charm and more just walking around like you belong there.
Yeah, bravado. Oh, 19. I miss. I trip over as we walk through the front door. Hey, everybody! I'm totally. Ah!
Have that removed. Yeah. Oh man.
You are walking through sort of this main hall, and it's not like difficult or obscure to know. Like the front of the building sort of leads to the street, the back of the building leads to the large complex of buildings that don't have other external visible doors. As you get in there, there's a bunch of people dressed in what look like chaplain's uniforms, but fairly decorative. And they don't have military ranks that you recognize, Kirkpatrick, but they do have otherwise kind of the chaplain's portion of the uniform. They don't have like the unit insignia or rank insignia. But they have all the markings of a chaplain. They also, as the woman described, they have the big goggles and they have the carefully wrapped faces. When one of them walks up to you, Dogleg, and points to Kirkpatrick and says, and they're big. They're about abyssal size, maybe a little bit bigger. And these are not like differences of feet, but these are definitely, it's like being around people who are normally 6'8", which, as somebody who's like spent a lot of time in New York, I'm rarely around Chicago-sized people. That is a tall freaking city when you come from New York. So I went from being, perfectly average Brooklyn height to being the shortest guy in lots of parties in Chicago. So that is kind of the experience you're feeling. These guys are not a foot taller than you, but they're a good 6 inches taller than you. Kirkpatrick. When Dogleg, one of them kind of wanders over to you, and through the wraps around its mouth, it loosens it just slightly and says, "What are you bringing this human here for?" Gesturing at Kirkpatrick, completely ignoring Igor and Grese in their white uniforms.
Oh.
The work crews are not supposed to bring others with them that are not approved.
I'm in a jam, and I take out my pack of gum and I offer it to him or her, as the case may be. I say, technically it's my it's my supervisor, and I'm relatively new to their company, and I can't ditch him, so I have to bring him with me. He's just going to stand there and watch me. If anything, I'll be done in half the time.
This is the supervisor?
Yeah, unfortunately, it is. Isn't it always that way?
This can't possibly go wrong. You should make a charisma check there.
No! I'm flexing my muscles at the same time. It's like, oh my God.
Kirkpatrick is nervously fingering his trench gun that he's never fired before.
Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so I need a 7. 7, lucky 7.
7, lucky 7.
I got a 3. It was the gum. People love gifts.
And he just says, be careful bringing people in who dress like the officers of the Navi Dom court. We have had this discussion. And then he looks at Grese and just like, continue escorting.
I just give that motion like to move. I don't want to say anything.
And Grese, this uniform is not only this silk, thin silk uniform is not only insanely warm and uncomfortable, it's also not fitted to you particularly well. It's lucky the boots are high. Because it's not covering your ankles.
It seemed like our disguise was so shit that they didn't even recognize us as being in disguise. They're like, "Where are you from?"
Oh no, they clearly recognize Igor and Grese. As he's just not acknowledging them.
Cool. Okay.
Well, it's a good thing we're not in. Certain neighborhoods in Bastion, if you were showing your ankles like that, they would run us out on a rail, they'd tar and feather us.
Yeah. In other ones, if you don't show your ankles, then it's a sign of cultural disrespect. Why do you hide your ankles? As if you hide your feelings.
Right.
So untrustworthy, automatically untrustworthy if your ankles are concealed.
He points to a door and tells Grese and Igor to continue escorting.
Yeah, Grese, kind of snatches up Kirkpatrick by his collar. I like whisper to him, like keep it together.
Kirkpatrick almost shoots his foot off with the.
Put the safety on, Jesus. Yeah.
So
he points to a door.
Oh no, go ahead, Rich.
I was just say he points to a door. The door is apparently not locked. You see some people coming and going through it. And I'm just going to just to move you guys along. Unless you want to do something else, getting through the door, you get a couple of hallways past where you see a bunch of people actually working who immediately sort of point at Dogleg with his bucket of grout.
Yeah, Chief.
And the big one, just a big guy. And an equally sort of broad-shouldered woman next to him look at you and just go like, "Where have you been? You're the wall builder, right?"
Yeah, that's me. Sorry. Had some trouble with my supervisor.
I do not want to hear any more excuses.
Of course.
I do not want to hear any more excuses. They're like, we need the reverse side of that wall patched up 2 hours ago.
I'll get on it immediately. I'm excellent at fast jobs.
Right. We're going to be around there in we're going to be around there shortly to check on you. And you had to be escorted in by. We are so sorry. Turn to Grese and Igor. We are so sorry. It's really hard to find good help. Thank you for escorting him in.
Oh man, I wear the uniform next time.
I don't answer. I just give him like a thumbs up. I'm like,
yeah, I think we all walk off. We're like, well, good luck with you all building.
They kind of point to the reverse side of a particular door. And there's some stairs kind of going up as you get to that reverse side. There's a kind of a large room down an end of the hall that's completely open. And there's people milling around, but this area, it's mainly workers of the kind of construction variety. What are you guys up to?
I think we should just keep on going up.
Okay.
If we tarry here, they're just going to find things for us to do.
yeah, I agree. I think we just keep moving up, avoiding eye contact when possible.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and they sent you kind of around an edge, and into a set of stairs. And this is a spiral staircase at the end, on the flip side of this hallway. It just kind of keeps going up. And you're just going up. You come out, and there is it's a fairly different layout from the floor below. And the spiral staircase does not continue up. So you are short the ocularium. There is a kind of a set of doors, or there's an open hallway kind of going off. I'm gonna use rough directions here. I'm not gonna promise these will fit to a compass. There's kind of some hallways going towards the south, and then there's another hallway sort of going off, or there's some doors kind of going towards the big, you're towards what would be under the dome, which are kind of to the north and west. And you are certainly in a mazy complex of buildings.
Yeah. So we think the ocularium is pretty much like right above us, or
no. Like
us?
yeah. It's going to be towards, like, there's some buildings that head off like away from the ocularium and some that head towards what would be under the ocularium.
I think we should go in that direction, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, laser focused.
Okay.
Kirkpatrick's having a brief conversation with Igor. Igor wants to light a fire as a distraction, and Kirkpatrick's trying to talk him out of, like we'll all burn to death.
Kirkpatrick's talking to himself again, blaming it on Igor. It's gonna get us all killed.
As you guys move towards the direction that should be, you're passed in the hall by several more work people, some people in just everyday clothes, that just look like, typical kind of businessy clothes. And you're passed by at least one person, that you've noticed, who's wearing sort of the white uniform. And he makes a special point of nodding towards Grese. Smiling, and then sort of just continuing to move on back towards the south.
It's almost like, do you guys get the feeling it's almost like a combination law enforcement / like religious order, like
/ alien invasion.
Yeah. That is the vibe I'm getting. Yeah.
So what are you doing?
So, like, are we at a stopping point in the walk, or
there's like you're coming towards like there's a hallway going off to your right, and then there's a couple of doors. One kind of in front of you, and one to kind of a small door right in front of you, and then a larger kind of conference room type area to your left.
so I look at Dogleg. I'm like, come on, man.
You're definitely below the ocularium.
You're the architect here.
Architect.
If you would have built this place, how would you build the way into the ocularium?
I would build it badly, to be completely honest with you. I would use lots of sand. Let's see.
Then he just stands there staring at the wall for a really long time.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to go left. We don't want to go left, right? We have no need for a conference room because we're having a conference out here in the hallway. We don't have to have one in the room.
Right.
So it's either really forward or to the right. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. Let's go forward because that seems like it's getting us ahead. It's forward.
I like how dodgy this plan is. Just like really beat up some guards, dress really badly, and just wander around inside the building until we find what we're
yeah, like if you took the Kremlin and you mashed it into the Vatican, and then you just got in under false pretenses and walked around for a while. Oh my God.
So you're going to that little kind of door right in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Does it have a keyhole we can peek through?
Not really. It seems to be just a door. You sort of like, if you were going to lock it, you would lock it from the far side. If it gets locked at all. If it gets locked at all, it doesn't really have a keyhole.
Kirkpatrick brazenly opens it and walks in there, looking like he's meant to be there.
You get into sort of an enclosed stairwell.
Yes.
That is going up.
Told you guys.
And coming right towards the door as you open it, and you almost clobber him with the door, but he steps back and avoids it, is one of your weird chaplain compatriots. Sort of like holding his hands in sort of a formal, I'm walking around and I'm a chaplain, and so I'm going to fold my hands pose. And through the kind of those strange glass goggles, he looks at you. And there's kind of a tuft of or a part of the scarf around his neck that's sort of pulled away. And what spills out is almost not beard hair at all. It's almost like a fur of some sort around his face.
What is up with that?
I'm torn between immediately attacking him. Because we are in a stairwell, and there's 3 of us, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And he's got awesome, chaplain goggles that I need.
Realistic stuff.
Yeah.
Go with your gut, I say.
Okay. Although I mean my charisma is pretty good.
True. Yeah. I mean, he hasn't stopped us, right? He just sort of.
Let's have an out of character. What are you guys more interested in? Seeing some sort of conversation and trying to fool someone, or just immediately we all lay into him in the stairwell.
For some reason, I think the talking is more interesting to me. I think a fight in the stairwell will go really badly because we're just wandering around in here.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I think maybe Kirkpatrick starts to get his rifle out again and maybe perhaps that Grese can put his hand on him to like, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And I think I look at the chaplain and I do the donkey, the holy sign of the donkey at him, which is like a much more complicated.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Like I'm like, it's got ears and a tail and stuff. and try to and I hold open the door for him and kind of bow my head and to allow him to walk past.
And as you do that, you're sort of allowing him to walk past Kirkpatrick, and then Grese and Dogleg. You see this guy kind of come up real quickly, right behind Igor. Very subtly point a pistol at Igor. Look at the chaplain guy and say, Father, these men are intruders.
All right. Is he past me? Does he have his back to me? Or I'm trying to give him
that. He does have his back. The guy who just walked up to you does not have his back to you. The chaplain kind of half has his back to you as he's sort of looking around, startled. Definitely has his back to Kirkpatrick, and that is when what looks like a throwing axe kind of flies backward and clonks the chaplain right in the middle of the head. Kind of right over the guy who just reported you as an intruder.
That's interesting.
This better not be Ballard coming to try steal our ship.
Well, it is the trademark weapon of his bodyguard.
Excuse me one second while I check my notes.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I get for putting everything in one document, as I have to keep scrolling up and down to find out where I have put the important information. And all of a sudden, this chaplain guy sort of makes a braying sound, like gasping for air, as he's clearly like clonked in the head, and kind of sways for a second. And you hear Nariah Ballard's voice, undisguised, come out of the man in the white uniform.
Oh, the one holding the pistol?
Yes. It's like, gentlemen, get rid of that chaplain.
I'll grab the chaplain and drag him into the hallway or to the staircase area.
Awesome.
Don't listen to him.
He speaks so authoritatively. I hate that.
This is exactly why he keeps stealing all our shit, because he turns up and you just do what he says.
Go ahead and roll your strength there, Dogleg.
All right. Looking for a 15.
Yeah.
But I get an 18.
Oh no.
I'm not sure what that means.
I'm totally picturing, like, I would just, while you were rolling then, of like their Ballard and his like little team's like journey through the thing, as them pretty much getting through, like every time we got held up and distracted, right. They just walked like calmly through the like we drew the guards away and they walked through. This dude notices him down the bottom, and they've just like been following us up with like no problems at all.
I will tell you, Nariah Ballard's uniform fits. Beautiful.
Such a bastard.
It's those details. He's a master of details.
Yeah, he's famous for his details.
He probably actually had a plan before he turned up here as well.
that probably makes Grese a little jealous. He looks at Nariah and looks him up and down and looks at his own self and how he's bulging out of this tight-fitting uniform. Turns to Igor, is like, I hate this bastard.
Dogleg.
Yeah.
You have got you go to kind of grab him and sort of tackle him, and he sort of rebuffs you and is trying to sort of back like up the stairway as he like grabs his head. What are the other two of you doing? And what do you want Igor to do?
So yeah, like I put my hand on Igor's arm, pull his finger out of his own nose, and I'm like, get the chaplain. So I want Igor to go grab the chaplain.
Let me check Igor real quickly. Igor goes and he sort of grabs the chaplain, sort of pulls him down, has kind of like his hands around his waist. He's a lot bigger than Igor, but Igor sort of has him off balance. If he was Igor's size, Igor would have him kind of over his shoulder. But he sort of just kind of has him pinned or immovable on a stair as he's like swatting at Igor's back. What are you doing yourself there, Grese?
I'm probably talking with Nariah. I'm not gonna like talk to him. I'm actually complaining. Like, this is bullshit. This is our score.
And Kirkpatrick.
I'm gonna hit the chaplain with my trench shovel. I think I'm the kind of fighter that just only hits. Is like I'll only go for sucker punches. I'm a coward.
Let's make this a strength check.
Right, with my reduced strength.
You're just trying to quickly knock him out, or you're just trying to get rid of him completely?
I'm not trying to kill him. I mainly just want his goggles and for him to be quiet.
Okay, yeah, make a strength check.
Okay. Yeah, I made it 7.
Awesome. Yeah, you clock him with the butt of that trench gun.
I hit him with my shovel.
Oh, the shovel. Sorry.
Yeah. It clanks satisfyingly.
And he just sort of slumps forward in Igor's arms. And Nariah's one response is to kind of give you sort of the up and down look, Gorish, and just say, your uniform doesn't even fit.
Yeah, but it was my idea. You probably stole it. You stole that idea from. You probably saw what we did in the alley. You stole our idea.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it was.
He gives you a quick turn and sort of poses for you, front and back, and just goes like, "Does this look like I stole the uniform?"
And I mimic his pose.
He said, "No, that does look like you stole the uniform."
Oh man!
Annalea just sort of walks up, kind of quietly behind him, her pistol out.
Sure enough.
She goes to pick up the axe that fell on the stairs, and they both tell you, "There's not much on this floor. It's whatever we're looking for. It's up there."
Yeah, we knew that. That's why we're heading in that direction. I'm gonna pull the bandages and goggles off of the priest,
Right.
because I'm curious about I'll hand them to Kirkpatrick, obviously, but I'm curious to see what he looks like.
What's inside is the face of a strange people known as the Noose. Physically they sort of look like goatish men, and you can see that what gives them their big stride are their goat legs. Now that you realize these chaplains are all Noose, or they have sort of hoofed legs. So that's kind of what gives them the impression of being sort of tall and menacing when they're draped in robes like this. But they're a very secretive, reclusive people, even when they come live in the city. I'm going to ask Grese why the Noose don't really frequently settle in Navi Dom. Despite an alien-friendly neighborhood.
They don't usually settle there because they've been known to backtrack on treaties and deals made in the past with different alien cultures. So they're untrustworthy to many cultures.
What's the one thing that would get that ensures the Noose will never double cross you, according to word on the street? What's the one thing that earns the Noose's respect? Culture.
I want to say that's a good one.
Anybody else?
I want to say I want to say a contract. Like I want to go like legal with this. Like it's a contract that you have to sign it. Like and you know that the Noose are, they're dead set on their contracts. If you break a Noose contract, they're going to carry out whatever penalties are on that contract.
So they'll pretty much promise anything like on a handshake agreement and be bound to break it. But if it's like lawyers sign it up, then it's like solid.
They'll read any contract you make with them in the most favorable way to them as they can.
Right.
And they'll just outright lie on a handshake because they can't believe any civilized people would be so excited about a handshake. All right. Narai's like, you did an admirable job finding the stairs up. I am very impressed. And he's like, why don't we go into the stairway and discuss terms before someone notices how much of you is showing through those excessively tight white pants.
Yeah. All right.
How about you go home and we go up the staircase?
You could go home.
If I go home, then we can't really discuss a deal that will get you out of here alive and with some money.
That's a good point.
We were doing fine before you showed up here, dog kicker. Yeah, I know. I heard your little secret. My friend told me.
Dog kicker? What? Who would kick a dog? No one would kick a dog.
It was a pug.
Everyone loves pugs. Annalise stands over his shoulder and is like,
well, it's not important. I'm getting like all sweaty, like afraid he's going to mention my crying at the theater thing.
Yeah, we've got photos.
Oh man.
Why don't we go into the stairway and discuss this?
All right, let's do it.
No, it's our stairway. Let's not let him into our stairway. Find your own way up to the thing.
No, I can just wait until you go up the stairs and then come up after you.
Okay, then do that. You can wait. We'll meet you up there.
No, how about this, Naraya? Why don't you just wait down here? Let us do this on our own. And then you can jump in if in case you hear we need some help upstairs. Because I know you. You'll try to cut out the middleman or the little guy.
Plus, I have an awesome idea of how to lock the door behind us as well.
So you're trying to like,
I'm like winking at them.
Forward? I think I'm that, you know, you don't need to, you know, any sort of check or anything to just sort of give your crew a signal.
Yeah.
If everybody's gonna and you know, you could spot whether people are picking up on the signal and ready to kind of go for it. Are you guys ready to go for it?
Wait, you need to go upstairs?
Yeah, and try to lock the door behind him.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
In fact, as we're going, I start whistling a little tune as we start to walk up the thing, and this tune activates my my hover plate that freezes in space. And you said the door opened. The door opened inward when we went, so I'm going to try get it to freeze like just like in front of the door, like blocking so that the door can't open.
That's an ingenious use.
I think that's pretty sharp. He is close to you though, so I'm going to have you make a dexterity check to see if you can get that door kind of closed just in time.
Okay, dexterity of 10. I rolled a 5.
Yes.
Congratulations. Igor makes it just in time. And you hear him jostle. He clearly does not want to make a big scene, because even as good as he looks, he will not be able to give credentials here. And so he's kind of shoulder pressing the door gently so as not to make noise. And you guys have space to go up.
All right, let's do it. Now I'm afraid of what we're going to find.
This is a staircase that goes up at least 2 stories without an exit.
Oh man, that's a good place.
Just a little like rules note, Richard. It says on the I've got the text of that little hover plate thing in there. It does say that it can be a strength thing to move it. It's not like immovable object or anything.
Oh, right. I think though that, you know, since he doesn't want to make a lot of noise.
Yeah, he's not putting his back into it.
He's not putting his back into it. And by the time you guys get up the stairs, you're not hearing anything. But you possibly wouldn't hear much even if he did break through it. So, especially if he did it gently. You guys get up. There's a little door at the top that sort of opens inward. There's no one here. You would guess this must be at the corner of the ocularium, part of the ocularium dome.
Excellent.
Kirkpatrick is very obviously gloating about his small victory over Ballard.
That was good, and you stuck him with the dog thing too.
Yeah,
that was good. Yeah. I tell that bothered him.
So are we like in a room, or we still on the staircase?
You're still on the staircase. There's a door that opens inward, and you're guessing this would go up into one of the corners of the ocularium. There's no corners in the round dome, but the edge of the ocularium. This would not clearly be the main entrance, but
all right.
So I say, boys, just behind this door is the answer to our worries.
That's right. All our riches, no more debt.
So does the door just open, or?
Yeah. Oh, again, opens inward. Are you trying to go quietly? What's your kind of approach here?
Yeah, I think quiet sounds good.
I like it.
None of us are wearing any armor, are we?
No. Being in debt tends to cut into your armor budget.
Yeah, but it increases your stealth quotient. Yeah.
I make sure to give the shush symbol to Kirkpatrick because I know he likes to talk. So I'm just like,
I think also it's helping. I'm trying to improve my
your
chaplain
costume
disguise now, so I've got the goggles and I probably wrapped my I wrapped my face up better.
So,
javelin.
As you start to head toward the door, you hear sort of and you realize it's been constant. A lot of like constant small background noises. It takes you a second to really recognize that they're there. You're hearing sort of from vaguely in the direction of the room a very, very deep, low moan. Kind of a in-pained moan, but not a surprise pain. Just a like everything continues to hurt sort of moan. And it is a very deep, and when it will sort of like, and it'll kind of sort of crest periodically. And when it gets to kind of its deepest and loudest, you'll feel a slight vibration.
We're totally imprisoned some sort of giant creature that's laying grain. A space whale.
Oh man, that'll put us in a bind. Yeah, let's continue. Get closer to the moaning.
So you're opening the door. Who is going first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I could always be like, "Oh, you need me to fix something."
I'll push Igor in front of me.
Igor in the white uniform, you, and then Kirkpatrick last.
Yeah, he's still fixing his face.
And gloating.
So as you enter Dogleg, you're not sure if you were actually here to fix something. You're not really sure what you would fix because the entire structure is a gigantic, beautiful sort of dome of glass, made of the kind of stained and tinted glasses. From the outside, it looks like various sort of geometric patterns. But from the inside, you see from the inside, it initially looks like it's covered with eyes that are sort of like stained glass eyes, almost like the eye in the pyramid, the Illuminati symbol eye, but just sort of floating in space, covering the inside of the pyramid. And then sort of these circles, and as you realize that the images in the circle are moving as if those were windows, though they don't sort of line up in either space, or like you're just seeing you're seeing moving pictures inside these windows. They're just sort of little they're like the same size of the little sort of dots that the eyes occur in, but instead there's moving pictures inside of them. The next thing you notice as the four of you start to squeeze into this big crystal dome is that it is supported in the center by sort of what looks like a cast iron or wrought iron pillar that kind of goes to the roof. And it's first you see someone standing naked, very muscular, pressed into the cast iron pillar as if he's wrestling with it, and then you look at it for a second longer, and you realize his head is somehow embedded into that cast iron pillar.
What?
And he's struggling with the pillar as if he's trying to pull his head out. And this is a very large man. He's larger than Grese and larger than the Abyssals. He's larger than those sort of noose chaplains look when they're in their robes. He's at least as tall as a house.
Wow. Like a human body?
It looks like a human body, except it's very muscular and very tall. Further details. Not paying much attention to you, just clearly with his back to the door. Is a mock donkey, and mockeries are Bastion's answer to golems, and they're a little bit like a cross between a magical robot and a Muppet. So they all look like animals. They're all nice and furry. Some of them have, and they're all made for a purpose.
Oh my God, that sounds awesome.
And this is a donkey who's standing up with sort of like hand hooves on hooves. And he's got like kind of spring-loaded legs that are kind of moving him around. And he's making cuts in the hips of this giant man, kind of reaching up with a small knife and collecting the blood that drips out of this man.
Giant blood weight.
And when he does, the moans don't go up in intensity, but they get sort of more sort of bass reverb, so that the whole kind of dome seems to tremble a little bit.
So these moving pictures that are in these windows, are they all different or are they all the same?
They're all different.
And what kind of pictures are they?
They are, people sleeping. You see one that's the two abyssal brother and sister from the alley that are like arguing about something as they do shots.
It's like a spy center.
And what do you guys do?
Turn around and go home. Just quietly close the door. Like go back down the.
Hey, Ballard, you should run up there immediately.
Yeah. Let Ballard handle.
Is there any machinery at all in this room?
Kirkpatrick, you're in the back, right?
Lou.
Kirkpatrick, you're in the back, right?
Yeah.
You hear the sound of a door being forced open and footsteps on the staircase beneath you.
Oh man. I wonder if we can just shuffle back up against the wall and lean up against the wall and like let him run out like straight into the donkey thing.
And that sound sort of reverberates up through the kind of the sound chimney of the staircase. And the donkey sort of looks over his shoulder.
Oh no.
Creepy donkey.
Yeah. I look at Igor, I'm like, I'm freaking out, man.
Igor is giving you that like
Yeah.
Is there any machinery?
And he looks straight at you, Dogleg, first. And he's like, "Are you lost?"
Yeah. We're just lost.
And then he sees you've got other people with you.
All of us.
It's like, you shouldn't be lost. He points to Grese. He's like, you should know your way around.
I start speaking in abyssal, like I don't speak common or whatever. I'm like, I don't understand them.
You know hablo inglés?
Yeah. Pretty much.
He starts to move towards Kirkpatrick. He's like, you came up here with them? You're not supposed to let anyone in here.
I want to go in deeper. Like, I want us to spread out a little bit. I want to like move to the side or whatever, like so that we're not all clumped together.
Yeah, I think Kirkpatrick's definitely like sidling nervously around the wall and laughing nervously.
This might be time for you guys to exercise your Second Amendment with your trench guns and whatnot.
But it seems nice.
You're right to remain silent? No. And for a second he sort of sits down and he sort of like uses his back leg to like scratch behind his ear, and his ears are sort of sinking, and he's like, oh, but there's going to be disciplinary procedures now. They have seen him.
So I like raise my hand. I'm like, Mr. Donkey, can I ask a question?
Quickly.
Who is he?
And the donkey looks at you and she's like, tell me what you see.
I see a very large man with a head and a pillar and a lot of eyeballs.
There's going to be disciplinary procedures. There's going to be disciplinary procedures. I need to call the boss now. The boss is going to be very, very perturbed, and I am not taking the fall for it this time. That's down this like large container that's filled with this giant's blood.
I pull out the weird gun and I'm like, you're not calling anybody.
Yeah.
You're just gonna talk to me, okay?
Make a charisma check there, Grese.
Oh, this is gonna go horribly.
Can these things die?
Oh, it's a 4.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
He's sort of like he rolls over submissively, almost like a dog. It's donkeys should not be able to do this, but cuddly Muppets, yes.
Ballard's totally gonna run up the stairs and kick him now, isn't he?
I push Igor. I'm like, go rub his belly. Go rub his belly.
I don't get paid for this shit.
Rub his belly, Igor. Rub it.
Igor walks over and sort of uses his foot to sort of.
That might buy us some time.
So, while they're doing that, can I like go over and inspect this vat of blood?
Yeah, it's a very rich, almost ruby red. It's almost you wonder how you would. It's not like glowing, but you wonder how you would notice how red it is in sort of this kind of shadowy, oddly lit room. If it's in a container, like anything in a container would obviously look darker, but this looks almost like fruit punch.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Like color. It's like a fruit punch color, but the viscosity and density of blood. But it's almost luminescent in the fact that you can sort of just see it.
What about the giant himself? When we get close to him, is it indeed that his head is like? Is it like part of the?
It's indeed like it's part of the. It's like pillar? It's part of the pillar. No, it's actually like it's been embedded into the pillar.
Oh man,
I really want to set that giant free and see what havoc it wreaks.
No kidding. Super angry giant. Is there any machinery in the room? Any levers or buttons or anything?
There is no obvious machinery in the room. There is a work table that looks like it has a large vats of chemical supplies, and powders and things like that.
Huh.
And several pans. Like by which I mean like large sort of like industrial, like restaurant kitchen pan type things.
Yeah, so they're making delicious bread out of this blood. Oh, we need to get a sample of this blood. Does the desk have any like little vials and things we could use to?
Yes, it does.
All right, I'll grab one and get a sample.
But don't we get paid more if we completely stop the? I think we might have to murder this giant and then.
Now, Kirkpatrick, that's just a rumor.
The sound on the stairs is getting closer.
What does it sound like? Does it sound like a?
It sounds like two people coming up the stairs.
Okay, that's fine. At this point, I want them to see this.
So I look at Kirkpatrick and I point at the Muppet donkey and I'm like, going like this to him, like, you need to talk to that thing. You're a chaplain.
Okay. I walk over and you think I'm going to.
Are still using his boot to sort of like half rub its belly.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's like staring up at you submissively, like he's going to be very angry, and you're going to have to tell him it's your fault.
I think everybody thinks that Kirkpatrick is going to go over there and try to sweet talk it, but he gets over and he just pulls out his trench gun and holds it at her and like starts screaming with like spit coming out. He's like, "What the fuck's going on here? What is this craziness?" I'm like, how do we? I don't even know what's going on here. And he's like starting to become like kind of unhinged. He's like, "How do we get that? I'm gonna let that giant out. How do we let that thing go?"
You must not let it call us out. You must not let it call us out. Please tell me you will not let it call us out.
Sicolas, huh?
I'm letting him out. How do I do it? And like, I think I like the gun. I think has one of those like like you can let it open it up to load it. I think he does that like kind of cocks the gun thing.
Yeah, I'm horrified to find the gun hasn't been loaded this whole time.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even loaded. He's never fired it before.
As you hear the name said, Kirkpatrick being a chaplain, you recognize Sicolas as being one of the 100 children of the god of desire and indulgence.
Mm. Oh, that sounds nice.
It does. That's my plan after I pay off my debt.
So I want to ask the donkey, what's with the surveillance of everybody?
You're one of them. You're one of the honor guard. You know what we do.
I am not. I actually like ripped the.
We watch Navi Dom and tell you how to. We watch Navi Dom and tell you how to get people out of trouble. Don't pretend not to know.
I don't know. I'm not an honor guard. I hate this damn outfit. It itches. It's hot. It sucks. It's too tight. Coming out of this, I like
and
stripped down.
I think as you say it's too tight, you hear Naraya behind you going like, "Mine fits me perfectly." And he's standing there with Aurelia. Sure, I'm using my names correctly. Annalise. Yeah, Annalise. Sorry. I give somebody carefully chosen names and then I cannot remember what the hell they are. So Naraya and Annalise are sort of standing behind you with their pistols are out but not pointed anywhere yet. And just like, I take it that's what we're here for. And he gestures at the giant.
I mean, that seems to be producing the main ingredient.
Don't tell him things.
I can't help it. God, he's just so authoritative when he speaks.
We told you to go home. Go home. We don't like you.
But I like all of you.
See what I mean?
Annalise likes all of you, except for Igor. But once you've dated, it's really hard to like each other for a few years after that.
Oh, that's far too much information.
Annalise shrugs and sort of like gives Igor some side eye. I like all of you. Why? What? Just trust me. Arrange really good splits. Why don't we get the goods and go?
Well, as Kirkpatrick has pointed out, we get more if we can end the dole completely.
Yeah, or Ballard can get more of all of the money that he keeps when he doesn't give us anything after the... Like, what were you thinking? A 100%, like 100-0 split, Ballard? Like the other times you ripped us off?
I'd be more than happy to agree to a 70-30 split in my favor.
70-30.
No, it'll be worse than that, because when we go back, he'll say it was 80-20, and everybody will believe him because everybody likes him because he fits in a white suit.
Yeah, and then he'll take all of our best stories and say that it was him that did them.
That's true.
I don't need your stories. What is it they're taking from that giant?
Well, it's hard to say. I think chunks of flesh.
Stop telling him things. Just stop telling him all the things. We've talked about this.
Look, Naraya, let us deal with the red stuff, and look, there's a perfectly good donkey muppet right here you can have.
Yeah. You could probably even kick it while it's down if you...
I'm a sentient creature. I'm a sentient creature.
Yeah, but imagine how much money you could make with this donkey muppet. People love you. People love your pet.
I'm not a pet.
A pet like.
And he immediately starts calling, boss.
Hey, hush.
Boss.
Like a pet that could bring you an ale. How awesome would that be?
So, like, as he's screaming...
See, Grese?
Oh, what'd you say?
What you see, Grese, is several of those sort of round sphere structures on the inside with eyes on them.
Oh, no.
Start to move inward. It's like they're just kind of animatedly sort of moving off the surface, or like you've just been staring at them wrong, and they're not lined up, and they actually were like several feet from the surface, but you were staring right at them, and they look like they were attached because of the way your vision works. Or no, that can't be it, because the ones on the side are also moving away, and he's still like calling, boss. Boss!
Are they moving towards me, or are they moving?
They're moving towards the center of the room.
Oh, we should grab the blood and run. Grab the blood and run.
All right.
Actually, yeah, do that. But I'm gonna start I take out my weird gun, and with this donkey yelling "boss," I'm gonna try to quiet it, but not by shooting it. But since my gun's so loud, I'm just gonna start firing it at all the screens of the people around.
Awesome.
The surveillance screens.
Yeah.
Do that. Why don't you roll the damage on that?
It's a D8.
Actually, go ahead. Since you're not really using it for damage, just make a dexterity check.
All right, under 9. It's a 3.
It's a 3. Yeah, you're able to knock out several of these sort of like surveillance windows. They just kind of burst, and this cracks start forming around the plates. The tinted glass plates that were kind of holding those kind of small portions in place. And you hear, why has one of my own priest betrayed me, Lubak? How have you failed me this time? As the eyes sort of coalesce into sort of a rotating ball.
Oh, God.
Near the giant.
It's like a nightmare angel.
We should run. And I'm going to try shoot Ballard in the foot while we're making a escape.
What?
This guy sucks. He's our arch rival. He'll be okay.
Oh my god.
Well, we should leave him behind to like take the route for
Kirkpatrick, you're definitely running, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to shoot Ballard in the foot.
So let's have you roll a d6 first and just tell me what you get.
A 6.
A 6.
Well, it's only a trench gun to the foot. How bad could it be?
Yeah, we can get a cool wooden leg.
So you've got your gun out and you're sort of jumping back up and sprinting for the door. Go ahead and make a dexterity check because the risk is pretty high.
Dex. A 7. Gee, I've been rolling good.
Nice.
This is what it's like to play with Jennifer. And
Yeah.
Jennifer, if you ever watch this, because no matter how tough the odds should be for her, she always beats them. So
I kind of like failing, so I'm kind of a bit disappointed.
Kirkpatrick also, despite wearing these weird robe things and the looks pretty awesome. You're pretty sure one of these goat guys, the nose could not move like this. As you sort of like sprint and then sort of skid to a stop perfectly right at the top of the stairs. Grese, what are you doing?
So Dogleg, he secured some samples, right?
Yeah. All right, I think one of you grabbed him. I think Dogleg are you the one who grabbed him?
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I start running away. Perhaps my ears are hurting from the screaming disc shot from my weird gun. So I can't, everything's kind of muffled to me. So I grab Igor and I kind of grab the donkey Muppet and I'm trying to pull them both with me. I want them to both get up and come with me down the stairs.
Igor and the donkey Muppet. All right. Go ahead and make
awesome band name.
Yeah. Live at the elbow room.
Oh man, if Muppets just weren't trademarked. Igor and the Mock Donkey just sounds like a children's band name.
Yeah.
I guess it could be Igor and the Donkey Puppet. That still sounds kind of cool.
Chris, roll make a dexterity check or a dexterity saving throw.
All right.
I keep forgetting that these are actually called saving throws, not checks.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't make it. I'm 12.
Oh no! Yeah, you start to pull on Igor, who also falls over on top of you, and both of you are sort of pinning the donkey Muppet down.
I'm sorry.
And the donkey Muppet tries to sort of buck out from under you, but he ends up sort of flat on his back, flailing at the air, with both of you sort of on top of him, and is not able to get sort of the leverage to sort of knock you off and get away. With that in mind, Dogleg, what are you gonna do?
They're on a bed, is that right? Or is it a divan type thing, or?
Oh no, they're just on the floor.
It's on the floor. Okay, so nothing for me to. Are they on a carpeting?
They're on top of the donkey.
How did this situation even happen?
He went to pull him. He tried to tug on Igor. He and Igor just sort of fell together over the donkey, and the donkey tried to buck them off and ended up just sort of pinning himself underneath them even worse.
All right, I'm gonna try to buy some time for them to get up. I will I will grab Grese's gun.
Yeah.
And fire into the whirling redness in the center of the room.
All right. Make that roll.
Okay. What does that thing do?
Let's see. Sorry.
D8?
D8.
Yeah, D8.
Yeah. See. Got an 8.
Nice.
Boom.
And you were shooting at the ball of eyes, right?
Yeah.
The eyeball.
The eyeball, as it were. Yeah.
Yeah, the eyeball, as it were. It screams as cracks start to form around it, and it tries to like put the cracks back together, and then sort of hardens into a thing of like that looks sort of like you've definitely cracked it, but it looks like a cast iron holding bits of stained glass together.
Oh. And
it looks like there's a fire or luminescence sort of coming from inside it. That's getting brighter. And it's going to come at you. As that brighter luminescence, Dogleg, starts to glow, and all of a sudden just sort of seems to come out as a bright beam right at Dogleg.
Oh boy.
You get 1 point of damage as you're able to sort of dive clear.
Oh, awesome. All right.
But I need you to make an intelligence check or charisma saving throw. Sorry.
Charisma?
This is what happens when you play too many games. And I remember the rules of the game you're playing at the moment.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm going to go ahead and use a fate point. Wait, no.
Yeah. Well, sorry.
Okay. So I'm looking for a 7.
Yeah.
Oh, Virgen de Guadalupe, por favor. I got an 8.
Oh. Dogleg. As you sort of dive out of the way, you see Naraya, loathsome Naraya, smiling, looking incredibly handsome and incredibly fit in that white silk outfit he's got on. And you just think of that poor pug.
Uh-oh.
And then the next thing you know, you're just firing your gun right at Naraya.
Oh, man.
Roll your damage.
I would have been super happy to take a 50-50 split. I was gonna negotiate. Okay.
Too late for that now.
All right. This time I would like to get a 1. Come on, big 1. But I get a 6.
Oh man.
Yeah. And how much damage did you do before when you shot at him, Kirkpatrick?
I think I rolled a 6 last
I think
time.
so too.
Yeah.
Naraya takes up right to the belly. He kind of rolls with it. It doesn't seem to have gone deep in, but he's bleeding, and he grabs his wound, and then he pulls his hand up, and then he immediately passes out.
Oh, Jesus.
He looks like he's about to throw up first, and then he just passes out, sort of right on his face, and he's sort of bleeding slowly onto the ground underneath him as he sort of like half sort of whimpers periodically. You know that pug you were talking about earlier?
Yes.
You don't know that pug anymore. You have no memory of why in the world you hated or wanted to shoot Nariah, or why he is anything but one of the most admirable and thoughtful treasure hunters in Bastion.
Do I remember shooting him?
You do, however, remember a very extended argument with your very wealthy aunt who raised you about becoming a treasure hunter, in which you ended up storming out of her villa in a very nice neighborhood, and hearing her direct her servants to throw your things into the street. You do remember shooting him. Why the hell would you want to shoot him?
This is why one should never shoot at gods.
However, Annalise clearly has good reason for wanting to shoot you.
We're going to have to kill her now too. She's seen too much.
Oh my god.
And you're going to take 3 damage as one of her hand axes comes right towards you. What does that leave you hit point wise, Dogleg?
2.
Okay, yeah, it just you're able to sort of roll with it and back out of the way. It doesn't even really scrape into your coat. It does end up splashing you a little bit with the grout as it sort of lands in your bucket of grout. And it's more that you're just sort of like you've kind of lost your balance and are having to sort of gather yourself. Kirkpatrick, what are you up to there?
I think I'm just screaming at everyone to get the blood and get up and get out the door. Is there some way that I can like aid them with pure like I'm ex-military? Can I like use my charisma to like help like order them to like get up and run or something?
Yes. Why don't you that's an interesting question. Definitely to get Igor out the door, just roll your charisma.
That's a 10, so that's fine.
Yeah, Igor is able to sort of like hears you, rolls off the donkey, gets his feet under him and starts sprinting towards the door. However, as soon as Igor is off the donkey twists and flops itself again, tossing Grese aside. And Grese, you're going to take 1 hit point of damage.
Hey. Oh no.
You're at 0. You know what's awesome though, Grese?
That
when you go from full hit points to 0 hit points, and I'm gonna interpret this rule in the most favorable way possible to you, you get tougher. That's the blow that sort of wakens your inner toughness.
awesome.
Your maximum hit points goes up by 1d6, and I'm going to say your current hit points goes up by 1d6.
Oh,
Okay. So I'll roll d6. I got a 5.
So
That'll
that
be
your
a
maximum
6.
hit points will be 5, and your current hit points will be so your maximum with 6, current hit points will be 5.
Okay.
wow, nice.
That is the first time that's happened in 3 sessions.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a playtest rule. Don't know if that will go into the final rules or not, but the donkey is up, and he's just like, boss, please, do not hurt Lubak. Lubak is your humble servant. It's this terrible priest who came in. He put me at gunpoint. They're stealing the blood. Boss, kill them.
Oh, that's not nice.
Damn it, donkey! I tried to save you.
Kirkpatrick, anything else you want to do besides just yell orders to Igor?
I guess I'll fire my gun at Annalise.
Kind of have to at this point.
It just always gets dark, doesn't it?
Oh, I just assume that they're gonna like try to hunt us down or like do something to us when we get home now. And I'm already in debt to criminals.
All right.
Yeah, good point.
Why don't you roll that D8 and tell me what you get?
Where did my D8 go? Okay.
It is funny though. We had a perfect no death streak going there, and then it's just all death now. Like
I rolled a 6.
You rolled a 6. You shoot at her. She sort of like rolls. She sort of sees where your gun is pointed and sort of rolls away from it. And it sort of sort of the force of the bullet going by kind of grazes her, knocks her back slightly, and she goes like, all of you have been against him from the outset. You don't understand what he's been through.
oh jeez.
Everything he's done for treasure hunting in this town to make it respectable.
All of the dogs he's kicked.
Man.
Grese, what would you like to do? Grese, sorry. I keep wanting to put an H there.
Well, I want to go get my gun back.
Yeah, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, from Dogleg, and I want to make sure he gets up because he's got the money. So,
right.
I want to get us out of there.
All right, so you're kind of pulling Dogleg out. Dogleg, you're letting yourself get pulled?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think that's just going to happen. Between the two of you sort of supporting each other, you're able to get out, but not down the stairs yet. But you're able to kind of sort of get past Annalise. And he's going to take one, at Annalise. Who, and you guys are just running down the stairs now?
Yeah, I think that's the plan.
Yeah.
You hear her scream in pain and rage. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot one thing. Yeah. No, I did not. Sorry, Kirkpatrick, I was about to impose as if you had shot the Manaka, but you did not. You guys are just getting out?
Yeah, I want to scoop up my awesome hover plate if it's lying at the bottom of the stairs as well.
Oh, yeah. I'd like, as you get out of the stairwell, I'd like all three of you to make a dexterity saving throw to sort of get out of the building.
I rolled exactly a 9.
Awesome. Grese.
I failed spectacularly.
Awesome.
I rolled right on as well. Got a 10.
The three of you are bolting, and it's kind of hard to keep track of your comrades when you're bolting. You get to that second set of stairs that leads to the doorway down to the main entrance hall, when all of a sudden all three of you are sort of bolting out, and people are starting to notice, and a few people move towards, like they're trying to figure out what's going on and pursue you, when Dogleg just wipes out.
Does the grout go up into the air?
I'm going to need you to. The grout is spilling out behind you. This entire wipeout would probably be less painful if you actually sort of skidded across the floor. But instead, you have all the momentum of a skid and a floor that doesn't really allow you to do it.
Oh, awesome.
They had the best floor waxing contractors.
Well, they have the worst floor waxing contractors. It's like walking over sandpaper.
Oh, God.
Dogleg, you're going to take 5 hit points of damage.
Oh, man. Even with my history as a semi-professional tumbler?
Yeah.
Oh man. So I take 3 points of damage to my strength.
Yeah. And because of that, I need you to make a strength saving throw.
All right. Currently at 12.
Yeah.
Come on. 7. Yes.
7.
You got a 7?
Yeah.
You're still up. And you are holding onto that vial of blood, but not much else that was in your hands. So what else were you holding onto besides the bucket of grout, the trowel?
The bucket. I probably would have had my baton in my other hand, I imagine.
Yeah, your baton is kind of flown free. But you're holding onto that vial. I even rolled for it secretly.
See, quick question. I forget now. If I get hit again now, do I have to make another critical?
Yeah. Each time now. Yeah. Okay. Each time you're hit for strength, each time you actually take damage to strength, you make a strength saving throw against your new score, or against your temporary score.
Okay.
And you're all just bolting down because there's several people who are like moving towards you as if to dogpile on top of you. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, let's run fast. Like a well-trained phalanx sort of like approach that we use. It's like
I'd like you to all make one more attempt at a dexterity saving throw.
All right.
7.
Gresh, you're so good at these.
Yeah, so good at die rolling.
Oh man, I missed it.
I rolled right on again, another 10.
Oh, you guys suck. So dexterous.
No, trust me. I've played with Lou before. Lou always fails.
Kirkpatrick, what you see as you look back to see how Dogleg is doing is the officer, or the honor guard officer that you had dealt with a couple of times early in the evening, goes sliding across this floor and kind of put his leg right between Dogleg's legs, and sends him sort of sprawling to the ground again. Dogleg, wait, one more dexterity save to see if you hold on to that vial of blood.
Oh man, come on! What if I like? I knew I should have like put it someplace really, really safe, but I just didn't have enough time.
Yeah, like give it to Igor.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that actually would have been a great idea. Okay, I got a 3. Yes.
Yay! I'm totally picturing like this, like you use it and it's like in slow motion, and you're like,
yeah.
You're holding on to it for dear life, Dogleg, when Igor sort of comes behind you and trips over you and goes tumbling over your body. Both of them completely wiped out. Kirkpatrick and Grese, you can run, you can try to save Igor, or you can try to pull Dogleg back up. What are you going to do?
Dogleg's got the money. Dogleg's coming.
Make a strength check to get him righted.
Oh God.
Or you could just shoot at the officer.
No, I don't think I want to shoot at anybody right now. I just want to get the money out. That's all I care about, money.
You've got Dogleg up, and ready to run. Kirkpatrick, what about you?
I'm gonna try help Igor.
All right, make that strength check against the 9.
9, 10.
Oh.
Yes!
Igor's put on a few pounds. We got to talk to him about that. Oh,
Kirkpatrick, here's the question. Are you going to let go and let Igor get snatched away by the guard? Or are you going to like kind of ram into them and get snatched away in his place while he gets away?
Kirkpatrick's definitely going to give Igor up. He's deserted. He's an expert deserter. He tried his best. You're like, see you later, Igor.
We'll get you out. Yeah.
The last thing you see, Kirkpatrick, as you turn to run, is the saddest expression of emotion that Igor has ever given. In fact, in his cold, emotionless set of expressions, you'd never thought he could manifest as much sadness as a simple, pure-hearted puppy.
Thanks for your help, Igor.
Oh man!
And the last thing you hear is that jerk officer you were dealing with earlier go, so your name's Igor, eh?
Oh God! Stop telling them things.
You guys get there. You have the vial of blood. You get out of the neighborhood. I would not recommend going back to that neighborhood anytime in the near future.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Sad stories. There's a lot of sadness, a lot of people crying. When Naraya's body washes up on the river shore, almost where it sort of goes out to the ocean harbor, but just sort of along a little rocky beach there, and it's found there. Word on the street is he was wearing a water-soaked white silk uniform that was the best looking thing he ever wore in his very well-dressed life.
Like whenever somebody mentions that to me, I'm just like, you didn't look that good in it. Come on.
And they never really hear you, Grese, because everybody just cries as soon as they start talking about it.
Like a sodden angel. Look at him. Yeah.
There was just one dramatic scar along his cheek. Otherwise his face was unblemished. His near perfect face. It was the saddest. However, Kirkpatrick is now possibly the most charismatic treasure hunter in this part of Bastion. And man, Dogleg, you don't remember anything except really liking the guy.
Oh man. You go to the service and everything. Yeah.
Like, you know what you remember, Dogleg, is he saw you cry.
Oh.
And he never said a word.
Oh man. What the heck? This is not a game of feels.
He never said a word.
Patrick definitely tries to tell you that he kicked dogs, but you just refuse to ever believe it. He would never do that.
Exactly. Oh.
You guys are able to. I'm going to have Kirkpatrick doing the talking, correct? Does that sound right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Make one last charisma check, Kirkpatrick. 8. Awesome. Yeah, you're able to sell this for 700 pounds easy.
Nice.
The color alone. People are a little dubious when you first start talking to them because, you're a little too charismatic to be real sometimes. Like it's like, can this much charm be really trying to talk to me right now?
And it's perhaps because I'm viciously bad-mouthing Ballad the entire time we're there too, and everyone loves him.
But man, once they see the color and get like even the faintest test of what's inside that vial, they're willing to pay you the full rumored unofficial 700 pounds. They were willing to put up for that. And you guys can split it. I think for now, you've been able to pay off those debts. If you come back, we will see what's gotten you back into debt next time. And I'd like to do, if you guys have time, I'd like to do just like a 10-minute Roses and Thorns.
Sure.
So that is Into the Odd. And I'm going to stop the recording.